Welcome back, everybody. Today we've got the 2026 NFL Draft official pro comps. So I took the 12 best rookies that I could think of at the skill positions, and I wanted to compare them to current NFL or former NFL athletes to really give you a representation of who I think they play like. So drop a comment which one you like the best, and please hit that subscribe button before we get into it. But let's start it from the bottom here at number 12. It's going to be Casey Concepcion, the 5'11 wide receiver at Texas A&M who originally started at NC State. He's very quick and twitchy after the catch. I compared him to Jayden Reed because I think he also has the attribute of getting downfield. I think he can hit the deep ball from really anywhere on the field. Similar to Jayden Reed, you'll see him on a lot of over-the-middle crossers. Casey is certainly a value in day 2 of the NFL draft. He may sneak into the late first round, but I think like Jayden Reed, he has a purpose on an NFL roster to be a serviceable wide receiver 2 with extreme upside on any given week. And then following him at number 11, it's going to be Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama. I think he plays a lot like Mac Jones, and I'm not just saying that because they went to the same college. It's just kind of the overall consistency that is lacking for Ty Simpson, but he can make all the NFL-style throws. I don't think he's going to get thrown into a starting job right away, which is actually probably massive for his development. I think if a team with a good head coach and offensive coordinator takes a full year to develop Ty Simpson, I think he could actually have the resurgence that you're seeing with Sam Darnold and even Mac Jones for those few weeks where Brock Purdy was out. And I think he actually has the potential to be a high-end quarterback in this NFL, but I would not throw him into the fire from day one. Following Ty Simpson at number 10 is going to be Eli Stowers, and my pro comp for him is Kyle Pitts. Eli Stowers just set a combine record for the highest vertical ever for a tight end. He is insane as far as athleticism goes, and I think he profiles similar to Pitts because they're essentially wide receiver builds, but in a tight end position. I think it's the new hybrid for the NFL, and I think he pairs perfectly with any quarterback. You can pair him with another big body tight end as well and just kind of go in 2 tight end sets. I think he has probably the highest upside of any tight end in here. I know Kenyon Sadiq is going to get drafted first, but if Eli Stowers is what he's supposed to be, he can absolutely be a game changer for whoever drafts him. Don't be surprised if he falls into the late first round as teams start to see the potential of Eli Stowers. And then following him is going to be Denzel Boston, the 6'4 wide receiver from Washington, totaling 11 touchdowns in 2025. And my pro comp is going to be Michael Pittman. I think those 50-50 balls or 70-30 balls with Boston, similar to how Pittman commands balls down the field, and I think they both have a big physical presence, especially in the red zone. He's a clean route runner. He can kind of work on some technique against zone coverage, but overall, I think he's one of the most pro-ready wide receivers in this draft. And similar to Michael Pittman, I think he's going to hit the ground running, and I wouldn't be shocked if Denzel Boston is a steal in the late first round of this NFL draft. Following Denzel Boston is going to be Omar Cooper, the wide receiver from Indiana, not getting nearly enough love from NFL scouts as well as all the mocks that are going around. However, I think he's going to be a very good pro. I'm not saying he is going to be a wide receiver 1 by any means, but he can definitely be a high-end wide receiver 2. And my pro comp is going to be Stephon Diggs, and I'm more so talking about the later ends of his career in Stephon Diggs. He can operate in the slot and really just go with those quick and twitchy moves out of the slot on third down to make the big play happen. I think Omar Cooper is as reliable as they come. He had 70 receiving yards in the national championship and seemingly always stepped up when they needed him to. I think he's going to be a gem, and I think he might actually fall into the mid-second round, but don't let that discourage you. I think he still has extreme potential to be a serviceable wide receiver on a contending team. And then we've got another Washington Husky. However, this time it's going to be running back Jonah Coleman. He's known as a bruiser and more of a physical running back, and his player comp is Tyler Algier. I like this fit because they both are extremely productive in the red zone, especially. And I just think Jonah Coleman lacks that breakaway speed. I think if this was last year's running back group from the NFL draft, he wouldn't be in the top 4 running backs, to say the least. However, he's going to be the RB2 of this draft class and is great between the tackles, so keep an eye on Jonah Coleman. And then we've got Ohio State wide receivers Carnell Tate. My player comp is actually T. Higgins. I know Carnell actually measured in slightly like smaller than he was projected to be at the NFL Combine, but he still plays like a massive wide receiver at the X. He can get downfield and make contested catches look effortless. I think he's one of the best red zone threats in this wide receiver draft class as well. And similar to T. Higgins, he's just kind of by the boundaries, you just throw it up to him and he's always coming down with it. The only red flag would be that he played alongside Jeremiah Smith, so he isn't used to getting doubled. He always had single coverage every play with Jeremiah lined up kind of on the other side of him. So I still think Carnell Tate is very capable of being a wide receiver one, but it just goes to show you the level that Jeremiah Smith was on. But Carnell Tate is certainly in my top 3 wide receivers, and he profiles like T. Higgins. And then we go to the Oregon Ducks. Like I mentioned, it's going to be Kenyon Sadiq. I've seen a lot of player comps to George Kittle, but I just don't think the production was really there in college enough to project him that highly. So I actually pivoted and went to David Njoku, who I think is George Kittle light. He's still great yards after the catch, but let's just take it a step further as far as his athleticism goes. I think he's a beast in the red zone and seemingly has great hands. But throughout the season, down the past 6 games of the season, even into the college football playoff, he was only averaging 35 receiving yards per game. These aren't elite numbers to put him as an elite tight end from day one, but I do think he's still going to be an athletic freak that is getting a million targets a game and making the most out of them. So Kenyon Sadiq is my David Njoku of this class. And then we've got Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. I think his player comp is CeeDee Lamb. The one red flag I have with Tyson is just his availability. When he's on the field, he plays a lot like CD. He operates in the slot but can also play outside at the X. I think he's a 3-level wide receiver who can do it almost anywhere on the football field. If there's any wide receiver that has the highest upside, it is certainly Jordan Tyson. So he's a name to watch in round 1. If he's able to find a good landing spot with a QB and an overall kind of offensive system that allows him to stay healthy for a whole season, watch out, because I think he could be an actual top 10 wide receiver in the NFL for years to come. So stay tuned on Tyson. I think he definitely has extreme upside. And similar to CeeDee Lamb, he could actually just take that breakout in year 1. So Jordan Tyson at 4, and then at number 3, it's another wide receiver. It's going to be Makai Lemon. I've seen a lot of Amon-Ra comps as well as Zay Flowers. I think he's kind of in that hybrid between them. He's not as big and physical as Amon-Ra, but also a lot more as far as kind of consistency than Zay Flowers. He can get downfield. So I actually pivoted and went to Golden Tate. For all you guys that watched ball a few years prior, Golden Tate was one of the best after-the-catch wide receivers for the Detroit Lions. I think Makai plays a lot like him. I think he's going to be an absolute star in this league. And similar to Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Golden Tate, he's just one of those guys that's a quarterback's best friend. So I wouldn't be shocked if a team with a young quarterback actually drafts him earlier than the other wide receivers, because operating in the slot allows him to get quick targets and really make his damage after the catch. So Lemon is going to be a hot commodity on the market. And then we go to Jeremiah Love, the RB1 from Notre Dame. And my player comp, again, similar to Makai Lemon, couldn't find a current NFL running back. If I had to pick one, it would be Bijan Robinson, but I actually went to Reggie Bush. I just think his explosive run play is similar to Reggie Bush in prior days. And especially with those juke moves and all the kind of hurdles he's going to the outside, Jeremiah Love is truly one of one. I think he can hit the home run from anywhere. So Love is going to be by far the best running back of this draft class, and even has an argument to be made that he's a better prospect than Ashton Jeanty coming out of college. I mean, he split time with Jadarian Price, the other running back at Notre Dame, who is also going to get drafted as a top 3 running back in this draft class. But him and Price split time, and Jeremiah Love still dominated. There were games where he was just having only 11 carries for 250 rushing yards. I think he's going to be the perfect build for an NFL running back. Standing at 6'2", 215, he's going to profile perfect at the NFL style. And then at number 1, it is QB Fernando Mendoza, who is going number 1 overall. And similar to a guy who went number 1 overall, it's going to be Jared Goff. And don't take too much offense to this. Let's be honest. Jared Goff made a Super Bowl. He's been leading the Lions for the past few years now. And I think he actually has that same career arc in him as far as Mendoza. He's a guy that people love to play for. I think he's best when he's playing off of his run game. So I think Clint Kubiak's going to do a good job with that play action scheme and getting Genty going first to allow him to play on the play action. I think if you put him in the right system, he can actually win playoff games in the NFL. So Mendoza definitely has a high ceiling, but also one of the highest floors in this draft class in the past few years. So Mendoza compares a lot to Jared Goff in my opinion, but those are going to do it for the top 12 NFL draft player comps from the NFL level. So let me know in the comments which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like, and please hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate it, and that is going to do it. Peace.